morning. Thank you for keeping it Citizen Television. We really appreciate your time and company. You're just in time for the social hour. And on this hour, we just want you to put your phones down because that is exactly what we want to talk about. Wekeni simu chini. Let's talk about those gadgets and how they have costed us when it comes to matters relationships. We want to understand what are the boundaries, what are some of the things that we do, the do's and don'ts when it comes to our phone culture, some that have worked for us in a relationship, others are destructive, and we want to understand from you also what are some of your experiences when it comes to the phones and the relationship. Na uko na password ya mtu wako? Hiyo tu ni swali I'm asking. Do you have the password of your partner? I mean, sometimes when you talk about transparency and being open and putting everything on the table, does that include passwords? That is what we want to hear. Share with us your experiences. I'll not be having this conversation alone in studio. It's a panel of follow tuko wote. CJ is back and the lovely ladies as well. Good to see you all. Karibuni sana.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Bakafiti, yo kala. Kala. Leo ni kama tuko polite sisi wote.
By the way, muliamua mvae tu blue,
sisi
black na mniache nje.
Dark colors.
It's okay. It's
but
okay.
You're adding color to life. Good to see CJ back, and as always big up Mr. Njosha kwa tuned in. Kahoma tu. Sijui ni nini inaendelea, but kahoma kidogo, but I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Napambana
Na hali yangu.
Sawa. CJ, karibu.
Thank you.
Litupotelea, karibu sana. Good to see you.
But you guys are good. Good to see you.
Yeah. All right.
Roberta
Bobby.
Roberta with the vibes. Leo wacha ni shout out pia mi mamangu for allowing me to raid her closet consistently.
Walai.
Yeah.
Hivi unatesa mama.
She does the thing.
At this rate.
Haizi nifukuza saa. I'm her only daughter. Atafanya nini?
Dressed by.
Yeah, dressed by Mama Roberta.
But you look good.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Uko na password?
Niko nazo lakini siwezi mind mtu wangu akiwa nazo. Unajua mkiwa in a relationship inafikanga point vitu zingine zinaacha kuwa trivial. Kama simu, naweza tumia simu yake kutumia M-Pesa, ya naweza tumia yangu kupiga picha, whatever. His phone is my phone, my phone is his phone. Mimi sina issues. Sioni shida basically. Si tunafaa kuwa transparent na honest na open with each other. It's not even about going through someone's phone, I think, there's a thing with breaching privacy, and there's a thing with hii topic yote iko na vitu mingi. Kuna insecurities, kuna watu wako traumatized, kuna old patterns repeating themselves. So of course if you see, kama venye tukua tunasema sai kwa makeup room, nimepata mkiongea ati unaweza acha simu yako, sijui ukiacha simu yako ikiface chini on a date inamaanisha mimi sidhani nishaifikiria kitu. Why? But I see how someone who's been traumatized by a person who did such things to them, it's a pattern they'll notice. You see someone hiding their phone, they're not as open as they should be, or they're very, very overprotective. Kuna ile kawaida ya please don't breach my privacy, lakini kuna ile ya insecurity hapa inaweza kuwa detected. So I think it's just about
so we hauna shida kushare password.
Mimi sina shida.
Na uko na password.
Mpoa wangu wako very welcome. Kuangalia
wangapi wako na password? Tunauliza na ni vizuri kupatiana password. That's the question we want you to respond to. But then what she's referring to ni story ya uko na mtu, maybe you guys are chilling or you on a date na simu yake screen in a face down. Whether that's a red flag
or not,
ama it's just an innocent mtu ameweka simu. They're always putting their phone face down. Why? Hiyo ndo swali nauliza. Kiti, uko na password? Ama ni vizuri kushare password? Ama would you know?
Once upon a time, nilikuwa na password ya Facebook. Your time when Facebook was Facebook, nilikuwa na password ya Facebook. Nilikuwa na password ya simu, nilikuwa na password ya M-Pesa. But then I came to realize, it's okay, fine, it's okay. But you need to know maturity level ya partner wako. Kama partner wako ni insecure, ako na issues already, hata before umpe hiyo password already ako na issues, then why would I give them my password? Because if I give them my password, atashindaga kwa hiyo simu. Hakuna kitu ingine tutaongelelea kwa hiyo nyumba. Topic itakuwa, jana ulitextiwa na nani? Jana ulifanywa nini? Already kama huyo mtu ako na insecurities, I don't see, are they mature enough to handle what is on my phone? And it does not necessarily mean I'm cheating. Not giving my password does not mean that I'm cheating. Ni zile za by the way, nikimpatia password, itakuwa sasa, password sasa itakuwa ni issue already. Tutaanza sasa kudeal na zile vitu zote ziko kwa simu yangu. You know, there are people, you give them passwords, and then now they won't have any other job. Sasa simu itakuwa ndio kazi yao. Daily job ni simu, anachukua ile time umelala, anachukua simu. Ile time umetoka hivi umeenda kwa bafu, anachukua simu. That's why maboy wanasemaga, wacha niende na simu yangu kwa bafu. Juu anajua akiacha hiyo simu hapo, itakuwa ni kesi. And please note, sio kesi ya kucheat. By the way, si kesi ya kucheat. Inaweza kuwa hata ni mse tu workmate amemtext tu, ama inaweza kuwa tu ni mtu wowote amemtext. So for me, I think it's about the maturity level and it's a conversation that you need to have with your mpoa. Ongeeni tu mwambie, cheki babe, nakupatia password, but haimaanishi like lazima kuwe na boundaries. Yes, I can give you my password, but we need to have boundaries zile za sasa tukiamka asubuhi, lunchtime, jioni, kila kitu ni phone yangu, kila kitu ni phone yangu. Hadi wewe una spend more time on my phone than I'm actually spending on my phone. So for me, I think I need to analyze the maturity level of my mpoa, kama ako mature enough kuhandle vitu zingine, na sitaki kesi. Sikuwe ni kesi ati sasa tutashindaga hapo ati hawa madem, mbona huyu dem amekutext saa 4 za usiku. Sasa mimi nafaa nijuaje kwa nini amenitext saa 4? Mimi siko na yeye, so mimi sijui kwa nini ananitext saa 4 za usiku. Mbona huyu dem anakuambia hivi? Mbona huyu dem amekupigia picha yake? It's about mimi kenye na respond, it should be about my response, what I'm telling them, what I'm talking to them about. But sometimes it's a very dangerous thing to do, so please have that discussion with them. And just to add on hiyo story ya kuwekaga hivi phone, naweza sema hivi, mimi personally nikiwa kwa meeting, especially hapa job, when I'm in a meeting I put my phone like that because I will be easily distracted. Mi phone yangu ikiwa hivi nikiwa kwa meeting,
no, meeting ni tofauti,
hiyo ndakuwa distracted.
Lakini there are so many ways of avoiding distraction when you are using your phone. Unaweza weka flight mode, unaweza weka silent, unaweza izima. Mbona ushinde umeweka simu hivi?
Phone yangu ni office yangu, siwezi weka flight mode. That is, I actually make money from my phone. Here's the thing, Safina, about putting the phone like this. Na get you patenye mnasema, mtu anaweza zima simu. Every time mkiwa na yeye, either amezima simu ama ameiweka hivi, but ile time yako huko nje ako on all the time. That's a different story. But for me, sioni big deal ya kuweka phone hivyo, because me na feel like I'm actually enye phone distract mtu. Acha nikusho, nikiona tu phone imewaka hivi, naturally I will just check the phone. So because I don't want to check my phone and because I want to give you attention, I'll either put it uko kwa drawers, just bali. So you want my attention. So if you want my undivided attention, why don't I just put my phone over there? Nisiweke DND, sai kuweka, mimi hata sijui DND na ikiago wapi by the way. Whereas sitaki kujua hiyo story, siko kwa flight, so hakuna venye naeka flight mode. Flight mode ndio nikiwa kwa flight mode, put your phone on flight mode. So hizi stories za kusema ati phone ikiwa hivi, I think hiyo ni overthink, but ina depend pia na mtu wako. As I keep saying, it goes back to your partner.
Ni nani huyu anakupigia utaki tuone save.
So it really
anyway, CJ. Watu wanasema the best advice washaipata ni simu ya mtu wako ni simu ya mtu wako. Kama hutaki stress, usiende huko. Simu yako ni simu yako. Kama hutaki stress na kama mnataka your relationship work, usiende kwa hiyo simu. Hiyo advice inatupoteza ama it's the truth?
You know, the phone is a sea. It's a whole ocean. You'll find all kinds of stuff in there. As Kitty said, you know, that is your office. That's your place of network. That has your family contacts. It represents a lot of things about yourself. And there are people you will meet even casually who will ask for your number. And they start texting you. You can't even control what they will be saying. On that phone, you will find transactions. You may have helped somebody with money without your partner knowing. You may have had an issue you're dealing with somewhere else. So there's a lot of things there. You just need to make sure that by the time you're allowing this person to get to your phone, they can actually handle it. That's just the whole thing. They can handle anything they find there. And it's, again, it's not just with cheating. They can handle every other transaction. They can handle people calling you names that you don't respond to probably. They can handle a colleague calling you dear or a colleague calling you honey. You may have a colleague who is very endearing with their words, and they say that to everybody. So if your man is very insecure, then he finds a text coming in, hi dear, are we meeting tomorrow? That can bring a fight, you know. So now you've got to explain this hi dear thing, even if you don't respond, cutie. Sometimes guys are like, but why do they have the confidence to call you that? You can't control that. Into the space of your phone. Yeah. They just need to have the emotional intelligence to handle what they will find there. And they should be able, one, to handle it, two, to understand, and they cannot always be raising issues as well. So, and I think that, you know, intimacy has grown over time. We can't start relating today. I meet Roberta today, we start relating, and then suddenly now we have all these rules. Your phone is my phone is your phone. No, it can't work like that. We've got to know, just the same way your account, we can't meet today and then now you have my ATM card and stuff. The same way we guard that. You've got to grow to know what this person can handle and how much they can handle. Not because you want to hide stuff, but you don't want to have unnecessary negative energy where you're spending most of your time explaining things that are trivial, and then you're no longer building what you came to build.
But you all of you have touched on something very important. You're outside world and you cannot control. Roberta, can't you, once you get into a relationship, I want to believe there are things that change you morph automatically. Your friends will have to know there are certain names, there are certain times they can't call, there are certain text messages they can't be sending. I mean, could it be like, are we right to say like you cannot control whatever the outside world does?
Yeah.
Or the messages you receive, or the calls and the times that they call? Can't you control that? Can't you tell your friends in Konamtu?
You definitely can. You definitely can. But you see, not prematurely. There's no way I'm starting to tell people within the month, you know, don't text me, don't tell me you love me this week. I have a boyfriend of 3 weeks. When you two CJ amesema, EO growth, and he's talked about emotional intelligence. Let me explain what emotional intelligence is and how it comes to play in this. Emotional intelligence doesn't mean that you ignore or you don't care or it's none of your business or you don't ask questions because you know you're not allowed to go through that phone, so now you're mature. That's not what it is. Emotional intelligence in this context is whatever happens, your reaction, how you react, how you handle the situation is very, very grown up. It's very mature. Your feelings are valid. If you go through my phone and you see something that hurts you, that's very, very valid. I should be able to come from the space of, I'm ready to explain whatever questions you have. We're supposed to have this space to be able to have this conversation. I should be able to explain to you why Cutie has been telling me she loves me all the time, every conversation we have. Is there something more? Is there something, you know, I should be able to tell you, no, I've known QT for 15 years, bro. When she tells me she loves me, it's because the love she has for me, it's actually, she means it. You know, easy conversations ni vitu mneza have. Na, venye tu nimesema, hautaanza kudate mtu 3 weeks ago, alafu in that month, ushaambia kila mtu mwenye anakuitanga love, don't call me, don't text me. But also there's a way you conduct yourself to show that you're able to give your partner reassurance, and also you're able to check these other relationships that you have going on. Bila disrespect, bila kufanya mtu feel ni kama feelings zake ziko invalid, or what they're seeing and what they're feeling is not real. Because like I was saying, most of us are moving through earth very, very traumatized because of patterns we've been through, things we've gone through. Most of the questions asked here, they're asked because people have gone through them, and these are feelings they have. These are things. Kuna mtu mahali jana ali notice chali yake uweka simu hivyo chini, na sasa amefungwa season anala awatu kumbe wakorada yangu. So hizi vitu ni very real. Haimaanishi ati juu hiyo ni kitu imekufanyikia kila mtu ako hivyo anafanyanga hivyo. It's a point where you reach in your life and you decide, I need to have healthier relationships. I need to attach better to people. I need to have amazing, healthier relationships in general. And this means being able to regulate your emotions, managing them, understanding them, so that you're able to communicate them to the other person. So in this case where you're feeling insecure, you should be able to bring it up. You should be able to tell your partner, babe, I feel very insecure when I see those messages. I need some extra reassurance. I don't like when I see this text. I don't like when you put your phone like that. Then you guys can have space for a conversation. And I always say there's nothing too small. There's nothing stupid. There's nothing that's not important when it comes to your emotions. They're very, very valid. It could be something that it has no reason to make you insecure, but if you feel it, please bring it up so that it doesn't end up bringing resentment in the relationship, and you're just able to say, yo, I don't like this. And also pia Sija amesema na pia Cutie amesema si ati sasa hiyo ndio itakuanga discussion kila saa ama point. The other person also needs to work on the security. They need to understand, if Bobby has given me access to her phone, it doesn't mean I need to go through all her messages, all her M-Pesa, all sijui what. Pia hiyo ni breach of trust. It should be, my phone is here. If you need to do something with it, cool. But also understand my phone has private stuff. My phone has, it's just like your bank account, your computer. It has personal things. I'm not saying, Ati, you should keep secrets from your partner, but there's things, they come in discussion. There's things, even things as simple as my work, articles I write. Sometimes I don't want people to read my drafts. My friend could be on my laptop and I just don't want them to read my draft. It's not that it's private. I'll post it for the public to see later on. But for now, as I'm working on it, it's just personal. It's private. So it's just about communication, addressing insecurities, addressing how you attach to your lovers, your partners, your friends. Practice, 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 and then you start to see all your relationships are the same way. I always give examples. You know, people think romantic relationships are very, very different from other relationships. It's the same way you attach to your mom. It's the way if your mom went through your phone, what's your reaction? Your mom will probably not go through your phone right now as an adult, but there's things, but you could give her your phone without feeling like you have to really necessarily hide something. So why can't you show up like that also in your romantic relationship?
Well, it's easier said than done. Hivyo vile umesema vile tunafaa kuishi, but reality tofauti. Like those discussions, usually they are not those sober discussions like I feel insecure. Inakuanga mbona udema amekutext like sasa watu washa jam nani mbona amekuita boo. But anyway, the question I wanted to ask is for instance, bestie wako amekuwa akikuita boo, mmekuwa mkiitana hizo majina before you started dating, and then now you're dating, they're still calling you that. Is your partner justified to begin asking questions?
Unajua ni personal question.
Nimetumia example kwa najua kama
kama umeniona. Baadhi bila kuangana maboi wenye
ama anakupigia hata 12 usiku like, and then now you're dating. They still sustain that culture. Is your partner justified to begin?
I think they questions? Yes, they are justified, because at the end of the day, vile umesema, if I'm single, there's a way to act. Unaget? Mi saizi, mi nawaganisha declare. So hata mabeste wangu wanajua dem, naweza mpigia anytime. But unachekia mabeste wako, at the same time ile time watajua kwa relationship, huo boy automatically yeye na akili yake anafaa kuacha kunitabu. Hata sifai kumwambia. Unaget?
So kama mimi you also have a role to play.
Yes, I have a
in
role
your social circle.
I do have a role to play. But listen, cheki, mimi niko na best yangu boy na mwitangabu. Actually niko na best na mwitangabu. Then ani example. So example ndio maana nimeshindwa hiyo book kwani uliona simu yangu. So buama ndio nitabu na mimi mwitabu. But ile time yenye yeye ameingia into a relationship, imagine Safina, I'm supposed to be mature enough not to text him and tell him hi boo. Nafani ni aje, unaget, like hata mimi mwenye your circle is supposed to be mature enough to actually withdraw that. Sometimes I don't even need to tell them. Ni kama saizi tuseme tu, acha nipeane example na Bobby. Hata kuna maybe time yenye tuna spend too much time together, but hata ya kicheki niko na mtu wangu anafaa ku understand venye tulikuwa tuna hang out mpaka 1 am. Siwezi enda kwake nikae hadi 1 am na niko na mpoa wangu kwa how. You know, some things need to change, and my circle first of all needs to understand, and my circle needs to change before I even have that conversation with them. Kama ni best yangu for real na respect relationship yangu, huyo best yangu anafaa kuacha kunitabu. Huyo best yangu anafaa kuacha kunita 12 am kuniambia ni aje tokea form. Na anajua kabisa yenyewe nimeingia kwa relationship, anajua nimechange my ways. Anajua so isako yangu yenye kwa hapa wanafaa kukuwa mature enough. That's why wanasema show me your friends and I tell you who you are. So are these people mature enough to be able to respect that I'm in a relationship? Yes, hizi siku zingine tumekuwa tukihang out tunaenda hadi 1 hadi 4 nini, but when I'm in a relationship, are they able to handle that? Are they able to control what they call me and how they, and if I feel comfortable with my friends, I'd be able to tell them, si ati usinicall ama usinitext, cheki saizi niko kwa relationship na na feel like hapa tunaweza choma. Una get? Nafaa kukuwa na hiyo conversation na mabeste wangu niwaambie, sio ati niende nikienda nikiwaambia wewe si ni text ati I love you juu ati niko na mtu wangu. Hapana, ni aje saizi na feel tu niko kwa relationship na anaweza taka tukwe tu na hizo boundaries kiasi, cause unajua mpoa pia tumpatie heshima yake vile inafaa. So hizi ni conversations pia wewe una play part, si ati sasa juu uko kwa relationship ati wachana na bond ataelewa
emotionally
intelligent, hiyo ni kumdisrespect. Hakuna story hapa ati ni cheki I am disrespecting my man if I'm letting other men walk all over me the way they used to when I was single. There are some behaviors na need kuachana nazo nikikuwa na mpoa. Sisemi that kata 100%, but lazima I have to meet him halfway. And if he's a good guy, kama ananipenda na mimi nampenda, why would I not create a special environment for him hata yeye feel like, because imagine tunaitana buu hapa ati saa 6 za usiku na buu wako hapa.
Even my girlfriends hizi majina tunaitana sometimes zinaleta shida kwa relationship.
Kuita Bobby
na hata si kuna kitu inaendelea, unaita tu best yako la
basi hizi achana kuitana na Bobby be ama my love. Bobby ni bebo wa mine, lazima tuendelee. Na pia huyu be wangu kama ako intelligent enough, achane tu na friendship yangu na Bobby, but I will make sure that I respect him enough to create an environment that is good for him. Maybe as he feel insecurity, as he feel vibaya, but this other life, we need to have this other life that we have friends, you know, that, right?
Lakini waldia sahi huwezi kuwa sure hata kama ni best yake dem. Anyway, CJ, this gadget, many people say it may destroy so many relationships. To be too honest, what are some of the things zenye probably you would advise, the red flags, the things that people overdo zenye zinaleta shida kwa relationship na mambo ya simu? Sometimes tunaenda too overboard.
Well, when you talk about overdo, then anything that is overdone is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Anything. It could be as simple as you being on phone with your mom for most part of the night and you're married. That's your mom. But you see now it's robbing your person time as well. And then they don't know how to talk about that because this is your mom. It's not that they are threatened. It's not that this is a competitor. It could be your sibling who keeps on calling. You see, all these boundaries are easier when you're talking about friends. What about if it's your brother calling you at 4 a.m. in the morning? He's always in trouble. He always wants money. How does your person then fit into this without seemingly interfering or being seen to be insensitive to your family? So I think the whole thing then comes to how the two of you do connect before you set any other rules, because those things are very easy when you're talking about your exes, you're talking about your friends, you're talking about your potentials, but it can still come back to your family. It could be your sister who loves calling you and she's got issues and they're genuine issues, and so every night and every night she will call you, and before you know it you are sleeping at 1 because you're on phone. And so here's your man waiting in bed, and how does he fight the fact? Because once he asks, who is that you're talking to? It's my sister. Now how does he go past that? Because there's nothing to fight there apart from now to say you're spending too much time on your phone. What do? You go back and call your sister and say, he's saying I'm spending too much time on the phone. So on the other side, the interpretation will also be different. I think the dynamics are very different in all of this. So it comes back to the element that has been spoken about, one of respect. That if you have respect, the phone is a gadget. The phone is not a person in itself. The phone is a medium. It will only amplify what you have as a person. How I behave with the phone just amplifies who I am. So if I have respect, that will show even in my behavior in the phone. Whether I'm placing it upside down, putting it aside, switching it off. Some people will also feel like, why are you switching off your phone? Why are you afraid?
Every time you're together, your phone is off. That's a red flag.
They feel that's a red flag.
Every time.
And yet somebody else may be thinking, let me just switch it off because I normally receive a lot of calls. Very innocently. And then somebody else will be like, that phone is always off. You see, so the problem here is not the phone. It is the mentality of the people who are dealing around this phone. It's just a medium. So the things that we need to look at is respect, the element of understanding. So the other person raises issues about it. look at it whether that is valid. You know, whether it is me talking to my brother, or me talking to my male friends, or me on the phone with my mother or something, if it is affecting the other person, I've got to ask myself, is that valid? Because I can't just dismiss it and say, but that's my brother I'm talking to. What's your issue? You don't want me to talk to my brother. What they're complaining about is not who I'm talking to, it is about the time that is being taken away from them. So I've got to have a sense of understanding around this, that if I got into an exclusive relationship, there are certain requirements that will make it work. I'm going to have to put in time. So anything that is taking away time is affecting this relationship. I'm going to have to build trust. Anything that is eating up on trust is going to affect this relationship. I'm going to have to put in communication. So anything that is affecting our communication, whether it means I'm going to hide stuff or not say stuff or lie, anything affecting the communication is going to eat up on this. I've got to put in truth. So anything that is eating up that truth is going to affect this communication. So I think you've got to first of all look at what does it take to build a solid, proper and healthy relationship. What are the ingredients that are required? And then look at everything else you're doing, not just the phone, everything else you're doing. It could just be as simple as a football that QT will be watching. All of that, look at how that is eating up on the ingredients of a good relationship. Is it eating up on respect, on time, on trust? Is it taking away communication? Is it taking away you being present, either physically, emotionally, in every way? Anything that then eats up on that would be a red flag.
Red flag, red flag. Okay. Roberta, we become a very virtual society. And these days, you'd find even couples hanging out and akila mtu ako kwa simu yake. I mean, talk to us about that culture that we have embraced, that it has become like it's part and parcel of who we are and how we live our lives these days. Hata nyumbani in the evening, you'd find, instead of spending quality time as a family, kila mtu ako kwa simu yake, including the children. Wamezaliwa wakaona this is the culture, and they've picked it up. Yeah. So everybody is sort of like, we have friends elsewhere that we are spending so much quality time with online on our phones. We are in the car, everyone is on their phone. How destructive is this when it comes to just bonding and building those quality relationships that you are talking about?
Venye tu Sija amesema, anything in excess becomes a problem. Hata maji ni poa, lakini ukunywa mob, utadedi. Anything in excess can easily become toxic. And also Sija amesema, how you are is how you show up. Like how you do one thing, that's how we are as human beings. How you do one thing is how you tend to do everything else. So this is more about, it's not just about the phone, it's more about who are you, how are you, what kind of person are you, and how are you showing up in this life? What kind of morals do you have? What do you believe in? What are the things you like to do for fun? And with that said, relationships are supposed to be very deliberate. Sijui mbona si take relationships nika kalongolongo ama nika ni game. Leo nikienda home, kesho kasijisiki, okay. Yeah. Watu wengi sana, they don't take especially monogamous relationships seriously. And when you decide, you need to understand, not even just monogamous, but when you decide to be exclusive, it's an actual choice that comes with a lot of lifestyle changes. And this influences everything in your life. It influences how you show up at work. These same people who are always on their phone when they're with their babes during quality time, do you think they do the same thing in the boardroom when they're with their boss during an important meeting? No. Meaning they know boundaries. They just choose when and where to apply. People who are obsessed with being online on their phones, and I know you can give whatever reasons. Oh, you make money, you do what. But the thing is, discipline has to be applied in everything that you do, whether it's being on the phone, all of you as a family, this is, maybe you guys after dinner, everyone retires and goes on their phones, that's okay. But then if this is a constant thing, you guys have no quality time, you have no quality conversations, you don't know anything about each. And I kind of grew up in such an environment where you know, when you guys don't have a lot of cohesion, everyone kind of does their own thing. You go eat in your room, someone else eats when they come, they'll cook their own meal, someone else is always on their phone. Unapata, so many years inapita, you guys know nothing about each other. You don't even know how mpoa wako alikuwa leo job. You don't even know. Like, there's this video I was watching, there's this man who was complaining about, he told his wife, the wife used to come and tell him everything. Like, alikuwa na complain kila saa, babe, sijakula, babe, nasikia njaa, babe, leo mtu amenikanyaga kwa matatu, babe, nini. Just the way you update someone throughout the day, how your day is going. And the husband told the lady, you talk too much. You tell me so many things. Like, vitu zingine, just handle. You know, you don't have to tell me everything. Ulikanyagwa kwa matatu.
It's the worst punishment you can give a woman. Ati anyamaze.
Kwani what did she do? Alinyamaza forever. Aliacha kuongea. Aliacha kumwambia the good, the bad. She got promoted at work.
She never said.
She got bonuses. She was going on vacation. She's doing all these things. But because you've told her at home that, not even telling her, you've shown her. It could be with, it doesn't have to be verbatim. You don't have to say, don't talk to me, don't tell me all these things. It's just as simple as, akikuja home uko busy kwa simu, pay attention, pay time. Na venye Sija amesema, it can be valid. It can be actually yenyewe ni deal inaenda kuivana. Ni mzazi unaongelesha. Ni rafiki yako ako na shida. The justification might be valid. But it's just about balance, communication, making sure that because you, as an adult, you have agreed. Haujaekewa gun kwa kichwa. You have agreed to be in this exclusive relationship. You have to understand these changes are going to come whether you like it or not. Relationships have a lot of deliberation when it comes to loving people in their love language. You have to be very deliberate about quality time, communication, making sure there's space for you to be able to come into the relationship as yourself. If yourself, and you see most people who are not able to do that for their partner, they don't even do it for themselves. They don't know how to do it. If anashindanga kwa simu ye mwenyewe the whole time, utapata ana slack on vitu zake personal. Utapata maybe alisema atenda gym aendangi. Alikuwa TikTok mchana yote. Maybe alifanya nini, hajui kubalance. Utapata kuna mtu anaweza enda gym na ako TikTok the same time. Ama kama anatumia simu ana make sure bibi yake, things are taken care of, the kids have gone to school, nini imefanyika. But most people don't know about self-discipline and balance, and that's where the issue comes. So everything in excess is an issue. Just make sure you're showing up, especially easy relationships umechagua. Za family unaweza decide maybe kuwalenga, maybe you don't like your sister that much, but mbona uende uchukue dem,
my lord.
maybe you don't want to be around your sister, you know, that's valid.
Mbona uende uchukue dota wa mwenyewe na mtu,
mbona uchukue mtu si wenu, hamko related, yeye anataka tu kupendwa, anataka tu conversation, umlete kwa kijako umlenge, sasa unadu. It makes sense.
I love that.
It makes sense.
Anyway, let me just make a disclaimer. Kuna wale they make money through their phones. Na hiyo inaeleweka. But then I believe hata hiyo iko na boundaries. Sisi the same way ukiwa kwa ofisi kuna time unamaliza na unaenda kwa your social life and other issues. Even if you're an online content creator, ama we ushinda online kumake pesa, it is understandable. But it doesn't have to be at the expense of the time that you spend with your loved one. Lazima kukuwe na boundaries. Lazima kuna time unatoka, una log out, you spend time with your family. You can't be online 24 hours. That means if it was like ile kazi ya ofisi, huyo mtu angekuwa anakaa kwa ofisi 24 hours. Is it practical? It's not. So hiyo si excuse. But turudi pale kwa password kidogo. Kuna kitu nataka kujua. Kitu ushainyimwa password ama mtu ushaikuwa na mtu mwenye ako keji na mambo yake ya simu, and how did it make you feel if you have ever been in that experience?
I felt like he was hiding something because I felt like mbona usinipatie password yako, maybe aliona siwezi handle ama siko emotionally intelligent. But ukiona mtu ako so protective with their password, they're like with their phone all the time, hataki waiguza, for me that's a red flag. So I felt like at that particular point nili feel like umse kuna kuna kitu ana hide na umse hiyo ni red flag yenyewe. Unajua vile nilihandle me, I was like, bro, if you're not sharing your password then it means you're hiding something. Na akakuwa defensive about it, so I was like, hapana, hii relationship hata niko hapa kwa nini? Because mbona tunafichana hizi vitu zote? Na haimaanishi, as I said earlier tukianza show, nilisema haimaanishi ukinipatia password hiyo ndio itakuwa kazi ati ndakuwa nashinda kwa simu yako. Vitu happen Safin, na ina happen hakuna mtu mwenye hata alikuwa na hiyo password ya simu yako. So once in a while lipoa msee mmoja akikuwa na password ya simu yako. So na feeling like kuna wale wako defensive and you would know Safin, utajua ule mtu mwenye anaficha. Imagine utajua tu like atakuwa defensive, atakwambia wewe pia wewe kwani una kazi nyingine utashinda. Yani the way someone addresses you, the way someone talks to you, you would be like huyu kuna kitu anaficha. But mtu mwenye ana kitu ya kuficha hata atakwambia chukua your phone, like you'd be like unapigiwa na sijui nani, akwambia by the pick up moment and call back later. You see, if you create such an environment, someone would feel like hapo ako easy ametulia.
Si mingi. Kuna wengine unaweza pewa password upate hata ni birthday yako, you're like
But Safi, wacha nikushow. Unaona ukicreate your environment. For me, I believe if I create a certain environment for my mpoa, they will not feel secure. Maybe it's just my way of making them feel secure. Hata si ati nampatia hiyo password ati ndio afanye anything. Nampatia ndio feel secure. Sometimes we do that to just make them feel. Vile nimesema, sometimes kuna vitu unafanyaga na relationship kuonyesha mpoa wako by the kumbe udem wangu ananitambua. Una get like udem wangu ananirespect. Udem yangu ananipenda. Na si ati nimefanya hivyo ati ndio sasa ashindage hapo, but there is a way you just do things. Okay. And even putting my friends, not really putting them aside, but putting a boundary. I need to put a boundary with my male friends. For example, mi upenda kupeana example na mimi. The guys that I work with on the show, Ronix na Bensu, I would not, imagine I will not call them at 12. I will not call them past 10 kwa sababu najua huyu msee anaishi na mama. So mbona nataka kumpigia simu at 12? Kwani ni emergency gani enye haiwezi ngojadi the next day? Na kama ni emergency, I just text. Nimwambie niaje ukigeti text kesho asubuhi, please fanya ABCD. Unless it's an emergency, why don't I as a friend respect that relationship? That's why nimesema it goes a long way with your circle and it goes a long way with me to make my guy feel insecure. But hii story ya kutextiwa, I'm allowing it. Why am I allowing men to call me at 12 a.m. at 2 a.m. Why am I doing that to my person? Hata yata feel disrespected, hata feel udem ni kama anitambui na ni kama anipendi. So it's my job, my responsibility to also make sure that he feels secure. At the end of the day, he's human. Hata yeye akipigiwa na madem saa 6 ama aende akifanya hizo vitu, sindasikia vibaya. So why would I do that to him? Vile Bobby amesema, penda mtoto wenyewe. Mwonyeshe mapenzi, mwonyeshe respect, mwonyeshe yendo kusema, alafu uone vile itaflow.
Okay. Sije tumalize hii kesi ya password leo. Kuna watu wana represent, like the reason I ask you to that question, there are people who feel very bad. Wako kwa relationship na hii issue ya password inaleta shida. Kabisa mtu ako na password kama 20. Kuna ya WhatsApp, kuna ya picha, kuna ya hajawahi pewa hiyo password. It brings a lot of issues. Is it a significant thing, and how should couples handle a situation such as what I've asked you, T, whereby you feel like you're not ready to be that open with your, imanishi umpendi, but you're just not ready to allow them in that space?
You see, I'll get back again to say the phone is a gadget. So this person you're dealing with has had a background. They've had their traumas, they've had their trainings, there's a way they are socialized. There are people who are not even comfortable to tell their siblings how much they earn. They've grown that secretive. It's not even that is anything like cheating or something. They can't even tell you. Even some of your best friends, you will not know what they earn, what they do, even when they start dating. They're not very comfortable because they're either their personality or socialization. So you have to understand the person you're dealing with. Like, is this person being crafty, or is this just their general nature? And that's why dating is important, because you get to know this person before you even get into the place where you say, let's farm up this relationship. You should have made up your mind by knowing this person is not comfortable talking about how much they earn. They're not comfortable talking about other things that they do. So if I'm getting into this relationship, I should be comfortable with not getting to know everything. It's a whole thing about the persons that you get into the place with. What then, again, would be the driving force for you to want to know the password? What is it that is pushing you there?
It's a relationship. We're supposed to be... And then you'd find they are more comfortable having the woman's password, and
Well, either way, whether you're the man,
you
listen,
know,
whether you're
let's
the
look
man,
at both ways.
Whether you're the man or the woman, what is that is pushing you to want to get the password? That driving thing is already a problem, either with you or with how your partner is behaving, whichever way. The fact that you feel you need to know something more or investigate something more, that's already a whole issue by itself. And that is where the conversation should be, because all that the password will give you, in any case, would be details or confirmation of something that you're already suspecting.
So you're saying utapata hiyo kitu unataka.
Yes. If
look
there's
for trouble,
nothing,
you will find it.
If there's nothing that is ringing a bell or, you know, sending an alarm in you, then you are being fishy. And that is a problem as well. So whichever way you look at it, either there's something that this person has done that is making me feel I need to dig more, or either it is I'm just a very nosy person, a very fishy one as well, and I want to go and look for stuff, and that shows there's a problem with who I am as well. Because if there's no problem, why am I looking for a problem? And if there's a problem, why am I trying to dig the details? Why not just raise this thing with the other person, that there is how I feel about this? Is there something I need to know? So that to avoid all of these issues. So all those password issues are issues around lack of trust, immaturity, insecurities. You see, I can give you my gadgets with passwords, but maybe I've also perfected the art of cleaning up evidence. And I'll leave you with that thing. I'll leave you with that thing.
If your inbox is always empty, red flag, red flag. Leo kazi yangu ni kuwapea ma red flag. If you see the inbox is always empty, red flag.
Safin, you see what the protests did to us the other day? They showed us the power of intelligence around IT, where people can actually get into your salaries and do stuff with them. You think these guys cannot hide what they need to hide and leave you with what you're comfortable with? It's just like raising kids. I mean, you want to raise kids and then you want to watch over those kids. Those kids, they let you see what you want to see. You need to then develop conversations with these kids. You can't beat them at their game. You can't feel like, I always need to check who you are texting, what you're doing, who you're talking with and stuff. This is how you find parents thinking that their kids are very well behaved. Then they will be shocked somewhere someday to realize this kid had a certain secret life that they knew nothing about. And they will be refusing to acknowledge that and accept it because there's what this person has presented to you. I think the best way still is conversations. You feel something about it, talk about it, ask about it. Whatever information you are given at that particular point, you may not believe it, but let it build up. Wait for the next one and the next one. Then you can now present a case and say, 2 or 3 times I've asked about this. This is what you said, but I still feel that that is not the truth. But this thing of, you're fishing and so now you're sneaking in on everybody, I don't think that where there is a healthy relationship, the urge for having the other person's password will be there. It should be just something somebody will give you and say, here's my phone, here's my password, in case anything happens, in an emergency. Same way they'll give you the ATM card and say, this is the PIN or something else, because they want to have access.
The relationship, see me.
But where you feel it is a need, that's how people stalk. You see, let's move it from the phone. It's the same behavior. That's how somebody begins to stalk you. They're relating with you. They follow you to work. You don't even know they're following you to work. There's no difference. They're coming in to see who you were talking to. They'll be with you in family parties and stuff. They're not conversing with anybody else. They're just trying to watch who is Safin talking to. Why did you smile with that one more? Why did that hug take a minute? Why? It's the same character. It's just that this one is directed to what is happening on phone. So this person needs to deal with the insecurities, or the other person as well, talking about that sense like of a party. If you're going with your partner, again, you can't just be hugging everybody. So you've ignored this person.
Them to be emotionally mature.
You've ignored them for the 3 hours you're at this party. You're talking with everybody. It may be your girlfriends, it may be your family, but this person is over here, came into this space because of you, and you've just left them out. That's the same thing we carry into the phone. So the phone, again, I will say, Safin, is just a gadget. What we need to handle is our behavior.
Hey, so simu sio shida. That's how you want to end this conversation.
Yes.
We
Very
began
poetic.
it thinking simu ndio inaleta shida kwa mambo ya mapenzi.
Tabia.
You see. But then Roberta, just a quick one as we wind up. Hakukuwa na password mkianza kudate. Then suddenly password zimeanza kuingia. Hiyo utainterpret aje?
Let me tell you.
Hakuwa nayo and then suddenly squeeze yako na password ama alichange ile ulikuwa unajua imebadilika ni
Amechange. Umeenda hivi kuchungulia ukapata
si ile ulikuwa
access
nayo.
denied. Let me tell you, this question, you can ask it in a million different ways. You can turn it around.
Ni ukweli.
You can make it look like, oh, how do I do what? But the end of the point is it ends with the kind of person you are. If you're insecure, if you're unable to communicate your feelings, if you don't know how to ask questions, if you don't know the difference between nani wako kwa simu yako and babe, I saw someone texting you, can we please talk about it? If you don't know the difference between those two tones,
True.
or achana na simu yangu, si nimekuambia uache kuiangalia, and there's nothing on my phone, but if you want to check it out, we can have a discussion. Hizo reactions, hizo conversations, you have to have them. Now, venye tu CJ amesema, it still goes back to what are you doing, what's that need for going to check and finding out that your access has been denied? What's the issue? Their phones are very private, they're personal, they're things you have your things in. If I want to change my password, I can. It's about, am I willing to tell you I've changed my password? Is it going to be an issue if you ask me? How will I respond? How will we have this conversation when it comes up? Am I able to give you the new password? And you see, even in such situations, you might ask the person and they say, yeah, I changed my password and I don't want to give you the new one because I don't feel comfortable anymore. Very valid.
Red flag.
Let me tell you, that's very valid. Hizi vitu munasema ni red flag, but even within relationships, you're supposed to be able to respect this person. This person has their own autonomy, they have their own life, they have their own private things. And remember, I'm not saying keep secrets from each other, hide things, or be secretive. It's about your reaction when things are being asked. You should be able to make the other person feel very reassured. You should be able to calm their insecurities. Na hao pia, wasikuje hapa na insecurities zao. Venye tu nimesema, mimi mtu akikuja niulize, nani wewe kwa simu yako? Reaction yangu inaweza kuwa ulikuwa unafanya nini kwa simu yangu? Na maybe hata hakuna kitu. It's just about your tone, how you approach me. Because if you ask me, Bobby, I'm a babe.
All right.
You know, I saw this message. Can we talk about it? Those are very different tones, and bring up the conversations very respectfully.
All right. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but wamesema simu ndio shida.
Watu ndio shida.
Simu si shida.
Watu ndio shida.
Nyinyi wawili mjiangalie. Ni nyinyi mko na shida. You need to talk. You need to talk about those issues that make you feel like the phone is becoming a problem in your relationship. That's the parting shot here. So, mjipige msasa mwangalie. Lakini hiyo kitu unatafuta kwa simu ya mwenzako utaipata na kitakuramba. Thank you so much for watching Citizen TV this particular morning. My name is Safina Chengoma. We really appreciate your time and company. It's a wrap. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.